Before we start, we're obviously on a King of the Hill map right now. Our boy is playing Cole. We have Hanzo, then we have Lucio, we have Hammond, and then Mercy. On the enemy team, we currently have Sigma Balls, Sand Balls, Widow, Anna, and then Soldier. I would say, looking at team comps right now, our boy Shadow Guard has the better team comp. Alright? Just want to point that out. But before we start, chat, we need to get a poggers in the chat. That's what we need to do. You get a poggers right now. Right now. Right now. Or no pancakes for anyone. Anyways, let's figure out what's going on. He wants help with character-specific tips. So we'll take a look.
Ready yourselves.
I recognize one of the players from the games. See, that's where it gets interesting, right? Because in my games, I can get gold teammates, right? And I'm in GM1 top 500. If I can get gold and plat teammates, then I wonder what this person could be playing with. So, even if you know someone from this game, hypothetically, this could be a high MMR game, or it could be very low. You never know. You know? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let's watch it. I'm surprised that you're actually not hitting your head there. Already, I'm going to point something out to you, okay? I have played Cole a lot in my life, okay? I have more than 19 minutes on Cole Cassidy, alright? So I know what I'm talking about. You can trust my judgment. Never, ever put yourself in this situation. I'm going to give you the reason why. When you walk this far up on Cole Cassidy, you have no way to escape. If all of them turn the corner at once and they see you, you're dead. You understand? You're dead here. So if they change their mind and they no longer look at the ball, right, they're going to be looking at you. And with the Sigma down here, you need to play this smarter. You can't ever, ever go this far up. You're not playing a character that has an escape. You're playing a character that has a role. That's it. After that role, you're dead meat. There's no way for you to actually survive this if they decide to go for you instead. I understand that you have Sen and you're looking and you're tunnel visioning right now, but the right play from the get-go, when they go here, what you need to do instead is that you need to mimic your ball's movement, and also your Mercy's here as well. So in this particular case, I'd rather you take the head-on fight like this. That way, if they decide to go for you, you have your entire team with you. If they turn around that corner and they see you, you're dead. This is a positional error, and we can't play like this. Okay, 2 headshots. Nice kill on the Sigma. Good target priority. Nice headshot. You waited and you put your aim where you're supposed to be there. So I can see something that you're doing right now. I don't really know why, but when you're shooting at a target, you're like doing this. You're like flicking upwards, but your crosshair is already on the head, right? Why are we doing that? Why are we flicking like this? You know what I'm saying? You're missing a lot of shots that normally would be hits. If you kept your crosshair to the chest level and then you mimic their movement with your AD strafing instead, you effectively would have killed this Zenyatta already. But instead, we're like opting in for like shoot. We're putting our crosshair on his head, and every time you shoot, you like flick upwards. It's what I like to call stressing your shots, right? We shouldn't be doing that. I know that it looks flashy. I know it looks cool. But for what it's worth, this is such an ineffective way to deal your time when you can just kill the Sen outright, right? We already established that you have pretty good, decent aim, so don't do that flicking.
Much obliged.
Okay, that's better. Chat, friendly reminder, if you have any questions about the feedback that I'm giving the player, I want you guys to understand 2 things. 1, I do not give tips for these people to become the master of their own rank. I'm giving them tips to provide them with what's to come, right? I fully expect after a VoD review that people get a grasp of how to play better, and usually that will lead them to rank up or go further and beyond that they are right now. What I'm doing is I'm trying to give them tips that will help them not only here, but will help them in the future. Right? So sometimes you might go, ID, you're telling him not to do this, but it's obviously working. Yes, it's working because of this exact rank, right? But it's not going to work when you go up against people who are much better. Does that make sense? So I'm always trying to help people look forward. I'm not just giving them tips of where they are. I'm giving them tips of where they're going as well. And for me personally, the most important thing that I like to consider is that when I provide someone with an alternative, I try to think a little bit more around the centralized how to just like make them better, right? Your tips are very bad and they're not logical. Okay, well you can suck my left nut. Either way, I think it's very, very important just to focus a little bit more on the positioning, right? And right now we've done a lot of positioning errors for what it's worth, and I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to that.
Thanks.
Let's group up here.
Okay. Kill him, Mora. Kill him, Mora. Oh. Oh. Grenade Anna. Oh, the Widow. Nice roll. Okay, good target priority. Nice kill on the Moira. Why not? Why not? You forgot about the Widow and then you remembered last second where she was. I like your target priority. I do. I do like your target priority. Like,
Thanks.
I don't always point out the bad things that people do. I also want to point out the good things. You understood that you spend way too much fucking time trying to kill the Ana and the Moira. It didn't work out. So what do? Well, you see the Widow. Instead of taking the duel, and usually what people who get triggered and frustrated that they're not hitting their shots do, you then roll back into a defensive position. The only thing that I felt was a little bit iffy about that you moving backwards is that you jumped when you went downhill, right? The scary part about jumping is that there's a Widow looking at you, right? And we don't jump when there's Widow looking at us for whatever reason. If there's a Widow looking at us, we crouch spam when we go from A to B, right? We don't jump. Because when you jump, you become predictable, and then you're making it way easier for the Widow to actually hit you. So when you're trying your absolute best, just try and remember that. Never ever jump against any hit scan player ever. Practically, don't even do it against good projectile players either. It's not worth it. But I do like the fact that you understood that you spent way too much time on their supports, you didn't get the kills, you then went down and you took care of the Sigma and the Reaper. I like that. That's a good sense of good game knowledge, and I want you to understand that you actually play that pretty well. Good aim. The Widow's looking at you. You saw her through the gates. Okay. Okay, dude. You're... Oh, scary. Scary. Two things. You tunnel vision the Sigma. The target isn't the problem. The target is good, right? I don't mind you doing this. But what I mind that you do is that we saw the Widow on the right side. The Widow popped her ultimate. Now she knows where you are. Okay? You're standing out in the open. The only thing that is blocking her from killing you is the pillar in front of you. But what you do instead is you take a look to the left, you see the Sigma, you get tunnel visioned on him, and you walk in a straight line. Right? Don't do that. Don't ever do that. One thing that people need to understand is that it seems to be this thing, once you start tunnel visioning onto something, you have to kind of like play to the strength of the character, right? Cole's fall off doesn't start until way later. Technically speaking, you don't even need to leave high ground. You can do the same amount of damage that you're doing now to the Sigma, but from a safe distance. Do you understand? You're lucky to an extent that the Lucia decided to beat here because we kind of went straight forward, right? And if you're going in a straight line, you're going to get fucking caught. So I kind of just want to point it out that you need to understand that you could have done the same amount of damage to the Sigma that you're doing now, but from a safe distance. So just kind of want to point that out, that we don't really want to go in a straight line. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense.
Feel that one tomorrow.
Okay. Good aim, as long as there's no pressure on you. But as long as there's pressure, you kinda fall short, right? And that happens a lot in master games, right? For what it's worth, the only thing I'm seeing right now is that there's a lot of positional errors that need correcting, and I'll continue pointing them out.
Things were a lot simpler when I was robbing banks.
Shoot the penguin. Shoot the penguin. Shoot the penguins. Murder the fucking penguins. Get him, fucking penguins! I'm gonna annihilate them!
Of course not.
He asks why you left your gun at home then.
I will not be disrespected by vermin.
3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
We just need to win one more round. No problem.
Enemy seen.
Over here.
I see the ads. We're gonna wait for the ads. When we do educational content, we wait for the non-subs, chat. Someone in chat let them know, and I'll give the rest of you guys some bangers. How about that? I'll give the rest of chat some good fucking bangers. How about Empty Walls by Sir Tankian? Okay, that's awkward. That's really awkward. Someone's using my Spotify account, and I probably just blasted Empty Walls when they were listening to Justin Bieber. Alright, well. Someone just got a rude awakening. Take this instead. Ads are over. That means we're going back to the VoD. Let's do it. Is that the thing of the System of a Down? That is true. A face cam would be nice if you were reviewing VoDs. I mean, I could, but the reality of the situation is I'm sitting here naked right now. And my nipples are showing. And my beard does not go down to my ball sack. So unfortunately that would be against TOS. Unless I was in the bathtub stream. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's go back. Ooh, careful. Careful, careful, careful. So, in this particular case, this can be avoided once again, right? And the reason why I say this can be avoided is because we're still playing a little bit aggressive. You need to wait for your ball to go in before you can start taking attention, right? One of the few mistakes that a lot of cool players like to do in whatever rank they play in is that you need to make sure that the enemy team is focusing on the ball before you take an aggressive angle like this, because you want the element of surprise, right? We already established you have pretty good aim, right? But the issue here is that when you go in first and your ball come in after, is that they're going to focus on you even though the ball goes down and slams, right? So you only need to wait a couple seconds before your ball goes in, or whenever the enemy team focuses on Hammond, right? And in this particular case, you pop out in the front and you're literally looking them right in the fucking face as they're looking at you. So you're not really getting any value. And at the same time, their Sigma puts up a shield and you're effectively useless. So we're standing in a position right now that will give us absolutely zero, and I mean that, zero success of doing anything. So in this particular case, again, a bad positioning, and I would rather that you wait for them to look at your ball, and then from that point onwards, you can then go for a peek if you want to. But this is completely on you, and you could have avoided this death by just waiting a little bit. I know I'm being a little bit nitpicky. I know I'm being a little bit like on point, but you said you wanted to understand how to play better with the character that you've chosen. And in this particular case, we could have played this a lot better. Okay. Now it's fine. Now the ball is... Okay, now they're looking at you again. Okay, careful, careful. Okay, now the ball goes in. I think. Okay, he's going in. You're getting them low, but you're not getting the kill. Yeah, move on the right side. Oh, 9 HP, you're dead.
Heroes never die.
Rest again.
Our work is not done.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh! 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 Fucking poggers, man. That was sick. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it to every single person who wants to be a cold player, right? Or if you are a cold player. When you're standing literally 5 feet away from the Sigma, it is okay to fan the hammer. Fan the hammer actually does more damage, okay? It's not a bad thing. You're not going to miss from that distance. In fact, you're going to do more damage to the tank, right? We generally do not want to do fan the hammer on small targets like Ash or, you know, Brig or whoever the fuck, right? But when it comes to the tank, if they're looking at your tank and they have the back shown to you, it is completely fine to use fan the hammer at this distance, right? I know it's cringe, but hey, we're playing to win. We're not playing to look fancy, all right? So I just want to point that out. It is okay. Nice kill on the Ash. A little bit too aggressive for my taste, but hey, it's all right. Eat his fucking ass. Eat his fucking ass. Eat it. Fucking choke slamming onto the tip. Oh. What is your Mercy doing up there? Not really sure what your Mercy was thinking she was gonna do there. She literally guardian angeled into the entire enemy team. Oh, what a beat. Saved you. Come all over the place, dude. Go out left side. Okay, cool. They have the point. Need to reset.
Keep that in mind.
Need to reset. Get fucked. Oh my god, dude, I fucking... Oh, I let it rip and I let a little fucking little toot-toot out of my bum-bum. And now it smells like fucking shit, dude. I might have to move.
Heroes never die. There's much for you to do.
Too early to kick the bucket.
Okay.
Need a doctor.
Oh, one shot. Nice. Don't focus the Sigma so much. Okay, good. Not bad.
I'm really feeling the hit. Thank you kindly.
Not to worry.
Surviving and thriving.
It's high no megalol.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your head's in the clouds, but the grave's down here. Mighty fine. It's high noon. Okay, our new priority target is going to be the Pharah for obvious reasons. He's dead. Nice kill. Get the kill on the Moira and you win. Oh! Nice.
That was a close one. It's honey.
Okay. A couple things. when okay, let's start with the good. The good, in my opinion, is that when you're not focused, you're popping off. Your aim is sharp. You play it right. It's straight on the point. I like what you're doing, right? It's good. The moment there's a sliver of pressure on you, your aim goes all over the place, right? That just means that you need to practice your aim a little bit more. It comes with time, mostly, but I like to see you use the aim trainer as much as you can, right? That's the important part in my opinion. 2, I think that your target priority is pretty fucking good. You have a good understanding and a good grasp of what should die first, and you're effectively switching. When you're not getting value on one target, you move to the second. I like that too. However, you do tunnel vision a lot. When you're not snapping to a new target, you are stuck and you move to the next one and you don't let go. What I mean by that is that once we go, like for example, let me explain this to you in a better term where it becomes like easier to understand, I guess. What I'm seeing is this. Say you're trying to kill a support, right? You do something. This happened multiple times during the game, and it's quite lucky that you survived. But say you're fighting like an Ana, right? And you're not getting the kill. You then swap, and then you focus on this guy. Now, I don't have a problem with this at all, actually. I think this is good. My problem is that once you tunnel vision onto the next target, you don't care who's looking at you. You'll do something like this. Right? Now, the problem isn't the swap. The problem is when you swap a target, coincidentally, you move towards them, right? And when you move towards them, you're very telegraphed, right? So it's not the swap that I have a problem with. It's that when you make the swap, you walk in a straight line every single time. Now, if you're playing against a Widow, a Hanzo, or a Cole that has pretty decent aim, you will get punished for this every single fucking time. And don't even begin to start with me when it comes to higher ranks. If you do this to me, and I see you, and you walk in a straight line, you're gonna die 10 out of 10 times. Right? So I want you to understand that the swap isn't bad. I don't mind the swap. It's just, don't walk in a straight line. You're being very telegraphed and you're being very predictable. If you want to make the swap, you need to understand the strength out of Cole's weaknesses and his strengths, right? And one thing I need to point out to you, if you're going to play Cole, you need to understand his fallout range is extremely strong, right? That's one of the few things that they buffed. Right here is 10 meters, right here is 20, here's 30, and the bot is standing at 40, right? So when you're effectively missing your shots, you don't need to do this. Does this make sense to you? You don't need to do that. If you're missing someone over here, it's okay for you to be standing here, because your damage is still as strong from fucking 30 yards or 30 meters as if you were standing next to them. Does that make sense to you? Right now, we're doing this. We're missing, and we're not hitting the Ana, and you swap to the tank, and you do this. Do you understand? We don't need to do that. Instead, play to the character's strength. Right? So when you make the swap, you can be over here.
Bullseye.
Doesn't matter. You understand? You can play here, and it's fine. But we don't have to be up in their face to do the damage. And if you're gonna walk closer to them, for the love of God, make it random. Right? Because if you walk in a straight line, this guy over here is gonna punish you for it. You understand a little bit where I'm getting at with this? That's the one thing I didn't like, what I was saying. Another thing that I pointed out is that you used high ground, but we kind of dropped from high ground almost immediately. That's okay, right? If your target is on the low ground and you can't get to them, it's okay to drop. But try to abuse high ground a little bit more often. Another thing, and this might help you a lot, and chat, pay close attention. Please, pay close attention. We've gone over this probably 100 times at this point. I'm going to go over this one more time. One more time. Just because there's some people in chat who have been asking. Whatever rank that you're in, and I see this so often. You have a target in front of you, right? And you're not hitting your shots. What makes you think you're going to hit your shots by doing this? Right? What makes you think you're gonna hit any more shots if you're like jumping or you're moving left and right and your cursor, like you're moving to the left but your crosshair is going like this, right? Instead, be smart about it, right? If the enemy target is ADSing in front of you, stop trying to track them while you're simultaneously moving. It's never gonna work. No one's brain is that good. Instead, be smart about it. When they're ADSing in front of you and you're not hitting their shots, use the enemy team's movement against them. Chat, what does that mean? What does it mean when we use the enemy team's movement against them? What does that mean? For those who have been here before and you know exactly what I'm talking about. What is that? What do we do differently when we use the enemy team's movement against them? You aim where they're going? Kind of? So, a lot of people, they have a target in front of them. They're ADSing, right? And you're ADSing as well, and now you're trying to put your crosshair on them. Chances are that, yeah, you might hit a couple shots, but the majority of them will miss. So how do we circumvent this? Well, so, put your crosshair around this area, right? Chest, head, it doesn't matter. But instead of doing all this, instead, put your crosshair where they usually are, and then you let your crosshair walk into them like this. Right? Your brain has so much of an easier time to comprehend what's going on, and it has an easier time to register when you're supposed to click if you just let the crosshair walk into them, right? If someone's ADS spamming like this, half the time they're gonna walk into your crosshair, right? So all we need to do is put the crosshair around the chest area, and then once they walk into it, we shoot. I cannot stress enough how many times the methods I've chosen for use particular people that I've coached in the past, and this works. It works in top 500, right? If it works in top 500, you'd be damn sure it works at bronze as well. So I just want to point that out. Instead of trying to do this mimicky shit where you're trying to make it look flashy, get the fucking kill instead, right? So just let the crosshair do the talking. Does that make sense? How do I hit quips when I'm not flicking and ADSing at the same time? Well, you don't have to. I think a lot of people try to make things look flashy. I don't care if your shit looks flashy. I don't care. That doesn't win games to me. If you want to win, it's all about hitting consistent shots. And this is going to make you hit consistent shots. Let the crosshair do the talking. Stop doing this fucking shit. And if you're aiming at someone who's, you know, away from you, don't do this shit. Like, don't flick upwards. Put your crosshair at the throat level and just let them walk into it, right? That's how we want to do it. And if you're playing a character like Cole, this is going to give you a lot better benefit as well. But yeah, Frantic, try and keep that in mind. Integrate these tips into your gameplay, and I think that you're going to start ranking up pretty fucking fast. You have good aim, it's just you need to kind of focus on the positioning as well, right? And if you get the positioning down, I wouldn't be surprised if you start climbing like a fucking madman, alright? So I want to keep that in mind, work on that. I could give you more tips, but the reality of the situation is, if I give you too much, it's just going to be, like I said, it's going to be too much. And you're going to be like, okay, what am I focusing on today? Start with these basic things. Work a little bit more on your aim, !aim. Please, like, use the aim trainer. Get a little bit more, like, accustomed to verticality in this game. And focus a little bit more on letting people walk into your crosshair, more so than trying to aim a target that is ADS spamming at you, right? If you're focusing on someone and you make a swap, don't beeline to that target in a straight line. Don't ever do that, right? Use whatever the map gives you as cover and then make the swap. And remember, you can do the same amount of damage on a Cole at a Sigma from fucking 40 meters away, right? Don't need to be standing right up in his face. You can use that distance to your advantage because that's the strength of the character, right? And you said you wanted to understand the strength of the character a little bit better. That's probably the major tips I can give you, right? And I would love to see you integrate these tips into your gameplay.